as well, because 1/4 of our panel does not speak Spanish. We won't say who, no, we won't say who. My name is Ilana. I'm a partner in Cohen law firm. I also Hawaiian born and raised. That's the reason for my Spanish. And I lived here in Israel for 15 years. I was a lawyer in Uruguay before I came to Israel, and I'm a lawyer here in the high-tech scene for 15 years. I co-chair the Latin America and Spain department in Cohen together with Manny Roy, that is my partner and is somewhere here, and a partner at the high-tech practice. When they always ask me why I chose to be a lawyer, and I'll do it 1 second because this panel is about them and not about me. I'm only the person asking the questions. And I said that I'm the girl of Jewish parents, and they always told me to be either a lawyer or a doctor, and I chose the profession with the most blood in the hands. So that's the reason I'm a lawyer, and I'm here to make them interesting. George Eket is the Senior VP of Business Development in Wix.com. I'm sure that you all heard about Wix. There's no need for presentation. We have also Sergio Vinitsky. He's a delegate from Israel in the FILA Barcelona, and a part of Israel Smart City Institute. And last but not least, the president of the Israel and Spain Chamber of Commerce, Matthias Shapiro, and who is also the CEO of Logical Commander. Welcome to our trade and commerce panel. And we would like to start with your insights in the current state of bilateral trade relations between the two countries, Israel and Spain.
Okay.
Would like.
Hi. Okay. I will try after the panel before by Yossi and the guys that was very interesting. I will try to make it a bit more relaxed than the paper I prepared. The first thing that is I think is that we have in the balance between Spain and Israel a big problem that we can also manage and also improve considerably. I see on a matter of numbers that Spain is mainly an industrial producer. It's an amazing industrial producer, as many other European countries too. And Israel appears to be a leader in pearls, diamonds, chemicals, electrical equipment, but also there is another balance that we are not actually contemplating, that is all the SaaS and services and R&D, that Israel is one of the best in the world. Everybody knows about the startup nation. Actually, I was checking the numbers and I saw that the export from Israel in 2022 it was $160 billion. And actually, plus or less in software and R&D, it was also $160 billion US last year. So actually, we have something that is very interesting that we can increase considerably. When I was checking in comparison the balance between Israel and Spain, I saw that Israel for Spain, it's between the middle to the last positions, also for import and also for export. It means that in import, Israel, it's a 0.24% on the total imports in Spain, and for export, it's 0.58. So actually, Spain is exporting much more than importing from Israel. But when we are talking about commodities, when we are talking about products. But when we talk and we see about Israel, it's Spain is in the import is in the 14th position, and in the export is in the 15th position. It's almost 2.5, 2.2% each one, and it's not so much money. Something that is very interesting is that we say, at least I own several companies, and I always say do business with people who is around you and who you feel comfortable. In my opinion, there is some things that are very interesting in the business culture. I work in a lot of countries, and of course I speak Spanish and I feel very comfortable in Spain. One of the things I see is that there is a big similarity on the mindset between Spain and Israel. And of course, we have a very large differentiation between each one. One are Europeans and we are much more Middle Eastern. So we are much more emotional than the Europeans, but the Spanish are a bit different than the regular Europeans. They are very logic, but very, very emotional, like the Italians. They are not Germans, but what can we say? Spanish work much more with Germany, with Italy, with France, with Greece, than with Israel. I think, and my experience maybe is less than some other people in Spain, but when we find the approach between Israelis and Spanish with the capabilities that actually we can provide to Spain in matter of technology, of being very large on the thinking, on the we don't need to really think about a lot of things, we need to move and do, and this is in a parallel situation I see between the mechanics and the heavy machines and the software that actually you create, and it's not a regular market. So actually, some things that I see is that the matching between those different cultures can provide a lot of things more. When I check that Israel is providing to Spain mainly processed material and semi-processed material to create a lot of things in Spain. This is amazing because this is exactly what it happens also with the software and the R&D. This is exactly what it can assist, and there you have a lot of things to increase in matter of market and the business ecosystem between the countries. I don't see any real reason that Israel cannot be between the 10 or 20 best countries in Spain in matter of import and export, mainly when we are talking about an amazing added value regarding software and R&D. In matter of Spain is in a great position in Israel. It's between the 15 most important countries on the market for Israel, although Spain is in the sixth position in the world from the global trade. So this is something to think. I think we need to work much more. We need to provide much more options. We need to increase the communication and the conversation about how Israel can bring much better solutions to the regular market or regular production that is in Spain. Of course, it's going to assist Spain a lot, and we see here in Israel that from the light train and a lot of processes that are being here from Spanish companies that are actually entering the market very strong. We have Sara, that is actually a global brand, but in the light train in Tel Aviv, there's a lot of experience from the Spanish that actually they came to fix a lot of Chinese problems that they have. Actually, I know from inside what is happening from some friends, and it's very interesting the experience and how they are welcome here in Israel too. So I think this is a good opportunity to start growing. In the last 10 years, I see in the balance that Spain was growing consistently every year since 2014 till now, and Israel in 2014 it has the best export to Spain. During the next years, it was really bad. And only last year, not last year, in 2021, it was a very good year, very close to 2014. So in the last year, it was an 80% of growth for Israel, but it's almost half of the export from Spain to Israel. So actually, there is a lot of improvement. And I don't think it's only on the bilateral relations that we need to improve. I think it's mainly on the business side, on the interpersonal capabilities of the people. This is what actually is developing countries and developing the market. It's not only the decision of someone. Of course, it assists, but it's not only that. So this is in general. I think I take a lot of time, but I wanted to bring some interesting data that I was checking in the last days.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to ask you, Sergio, which are the main challenges that you see for Spanish companies doing business in Israel? And same question, but the other way around. The main challenges for Spanish companies.
First, in one of the panels, they say that 400,000 Israelis are coming to Barcelona. I'm in charge of bringing 1% to Fira Barcelona. Fira Barcelona, the Smart City, the Mobile World Congress, Mr. Bardi knows, and the ISE, integrated system, that was last week. It was all the people there speaking Hebrew, and many of them, and I am in charge of the prize of 2014 Tel Aviv. For you, yes, you won it with the digital, but it was a little bit there. And so I am charging 1% of the tourists, business tourists there. The other 99% are going go to the Camp Nou or the Primark. So I'm charging 1% for 1% of the tourists. I think the main challenge is that Spain for Israel is not the first choice. I know it for the trade shows that are in Barcelona. They are very good, but people will say, okay, we are going to Germany, we are going to US, or we are going to the West, to the far east, sorry, China, Hong Kong. So we have to be very attractive in many events that are held in Spain in order to bring Israel. Because tourism, okay, Gaudi and Camp Nou and Barcelona Football Club, it's very good, but for business, it's not enough. We have to be very attractive, like the Mobile World Congress, like the Smart City event, like the audio video that was last week, that 1,000 people from here are taking the time and the plane to go there. Because always the first choice will not be Spain. I think for Spain also the first choice will not be Israel. So we have to identify, identify what are the needs and the wants of the industry of Spain, and what are the needs and the wants of the industry of Israel. There are many things, for example, food, construction, automotive, you said the train, the light train, machinery, infrastructures. Those Spanish companies can come here and bring their business. We can sell, of course, technology, food tech, fintech, mobility, HLS, cyber, nanotechnology. So we must find the opportunities and try to make, I always say that Israel is a feeler. It's a startup nation feeler. We have to feel the needs and the wants of every place in the world. Maybe we are not producing products, final products, but maybe 60 or 50% of the technology is from Israel. So we have to try to make, consortiums and to try to make some business together. This is the main challenge, to try to find the opportunities that are matching both countries. With products, with technology, we probably will import products or infrastructures, and we export technology. We have to find the formula that will be good for both. And in the last years, the language is not a so-called problem, but there are many issues between language. Even that we are working only 4 days in common. No Sundays, no Saturdays, no Fridays. So we have to adapt ourselves to both mentalities and languages and manners of working.
Thank you, Sergio. And continuing with what you just said, Dror, which are the ways that you think we should adapt in order to increment the trade in innovation and software between Spain and Israel?
Thank you. Wix is a global company and we work in more than 200 countries in all the language and all the verticals. For us, Spain is important because we are very sensitive to languages. At the end of the day, we are talking about a website builder that is sensitive to language. And Spain is not a huge country, but it's 45 million people with a nice GDP. They can offer themselves to be Wix customers. But more important is the gate for LATAM. And LATAM is 1 billion people there. And this is the way I think Israel startup need to look on Spain. Because for them, Spain always will be a country. If you need to consider between Spain and Germany, so Germany is richer and bigger. If you need to go to UK is English and bigger. So every time that you are checking business opportunity, you are checking the challenge and the opportunity and the risk. And Spain will not be in the top 3. US always be before, Germany will be before, the UK will be before. So you need to look at the big picture. Spain is a gate to LATAM. From there you can have the support and the language and the culture to go to Mexico, to go to Honduras, Guatemala, all those countries. And this is how we work. Right now we are very strong in LATAM and we have about 5 million users in Spain, but we have about 25 million users in Brazil. So this is the way I think Israeli startups need to use Spain. Spain and Portugal as a gate to Brazil, and Spain as a gate to Argentina, Mexico. And those are a much bigger market, especially if you have a product in software that can, the margin is good enough that you can work in those countries. And this is the advantage of Spain for us.
Do you think that further education need to be done in the Israeli high-tech market in order for them to identify LATAM and Spain as targets, or that it's the fact that you just noticed is well known in the Israeli high-tech industry?
I think the information is not good enough. The result of lack of information, lack of resource, those countries, I have so many delegations every year that coming from LATAM and Spain to learn about innovation, but at the end of the day we're talking about few people that are coming. For the Israeli, because of the barrier of time zone and language and lack of information, because for most of the young entrepreneurs, for them LATAM is the mochileros and India is mochileros. They don't look on them as a business opportunity. And this is something that is about education.
Thank you. Any questions from?
For Tel Aviv municipality, I think there is another challenge with smart cities. And we have a good collaboration between Tel Aviv and Barcelona regarding smart city. And after the corona, I think we have a big challenge to improve the service to the residents and to have the SMEs. And we have a lot of collaboration in this field, and I think it's a very good topic for enhancing the collaboration in those days.
I think it's very, very true, and they're right. And I think that one of the enablers that can come helping the other municipalities and the federal government, the central government. If the government, local government or central government will push the G2G or G2B, government to government or government to business programs, it will be much better for both industries to grow. because it can be done through consortiums, it can be done through Horizon 2020 or programs from the EU, or even from governments. You know, I was involved in many projects between governments, not only Spain, and they are the pusher. You know, after them we can go by ourselves, but the government, the central government or the local government will give the push, the first push, like. You know, in the garden with the kids that they are swinging, and we have to push them the first push, and then they are going by themselves for many hours or minutes. It's the same. If the government, the local government or the central government will push the projects, it will be much easier to be. And smart cities is a very good example.
Thank you. We see also large corporations doing things in Israel, such as Telefónica, such as Banco Santander, Repsol, and others. Matthias, what do you think that they need in order to take those collaborations to a further step of those trade opportunities into a much bigger and higher collaboration?
Well, it's a tough question, but it's very interesting.
I'm sorry, that was not between.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry.
But it was.
But actually, I was involved with one of the major corporates in Spain, bringing them to Israel many years ago. And the first thing that we have a problem, although everybody speaks English, was language. It was very interesting because we were sitting in the same table and one was talking about something and the same was talking about the same and they didn't understand each other. It was something, I was completely shocked. But with the time, I was young in those times, and I still being. I was thinking, how is possible they don't understand each other? I really didn't understand. But I think it's a much more cultural issue. This something that you say. I think this push and this closing the gaps. I think is a first thing. People should understand to be first of all patient and to see where they can enter. In this way, to enter as a multinational in Israel or a big multinational in Spain, the first thing, as opposite that I said before, it should be a very good ground on matter of taxation, withholding taxes, and all this stuff. That this is very important. If you have a very tough tax issues of tax, at least issues of tax, you will consider if you are going to enter, unless you have some big projects and you will figure it out how to enter. Also an issue of Telefónica. I'm not really sure how much they are inside the Israeli market, but I can tell you that for sure they will like to enter like a Bezek and many other companies, but it should be some decisions in the government to make this kind of change and open the market for everyone. I think open market is the best. It can happen to everybody, not only for the people, but also for internationalization and globalization, and also to learn a lot. I work in 46 countries, and I see all my partners and customers when they come to Israel the first time, they open their mouth and say, "Oh my God, I saw something new. I never expected something like this." And I saw very good friends that they were never talking about technology, and after 1 year, 2 years talking with us, they started in their own countries a startup, or they took some guys and they started to develop some software. Maybe it was not the best, but it was the first one. So actually, they started to create a kind of I'm not going to say ecosystem like here in Israel, but at the end, when you have one company and you have another company and you have another company, and they start to move around, actually everybody's bringing some new ideas, they're bringing some new experience to the same place, and it's not always a telephone, and this guy from Samsung goes to Nokia and goes to Xiaomi. So actually, everybody's bringing something new. And I think multinationals in Israel as they are entering here, the first and most important easy thing to do is to come for R&D. 100% they are entering here from the last at least 10 years, I think, and they are really enjoying. I saw many Spanish companies that they are coming here to Israel for that, and they are really bringing this to the market and international market too.
Thank you so much. We will leave you with the next panel. Thank you, Dror. Thank you, Matthias.
Thank you.